The dim glow of neon lights flickered across the rain-slicked pavement, casting jagged shadows that danced like secrets unwilling to stay hidden. A man stood at the edge of the crowd spilling out from the upscale lounge, his silhouette sharp against the thrumming bass that pulsed through the open doors. He wasn't the tallest or the most striking figure there, but something in the way he moved, deliberate, unhurried, drew eyes without effort. Inside, the air buzzed with laughter and clinking glasses, the scent of expensive perfumes mingling with the sharp tang of spilled whiskey. She was at the bar, her fingers tracing the rim of a half-empty martini glass, her posture a mix of confidence and quiet unrest. Her friends chattered around her, but her gaze wandered, searching for something undefined in the sea of faces. He caught it, held it for a fraction too long, then looked away as if the connection had been accidental. But it wasn't. In that split second, the game had begun, invisible threads weaving through the room, pulling her closer without a single word spoken. What was it about him that made her lean forward, her pulse quickening against her will? The night unfolded like a carefully scripted play, each glance, each subtle gesture building an undercurrent of tension that she couldn't quite name. Hours later, as the crowd thinned, she found herself beside him, conversation flowing effortlessly, her defenses crumbling like sandcastles against an incoming tide. He listened more than he spoke, his words laced with just enough intrigue to make her want more, to chase the unspoken promise hanging there. By dawn, as they parted ways under the fading streetlights, she was left with a lingering ache, a compulsion to see him again that defied logic. How had a stranger pierced through her guarded world so seamlessly? It wasn't charm or looks alone. It was something deeper, a calculated understanding of the human mind that turned ordinary encounters into inescapable bonds. This wasn't luck. This was mastery, honed through insights that most never grasp. And as the city awoke around her, she replayed the night, unaware that the seeds of influence had already taken root. The lounge faded into memory, but the essence of that encounter lingered, a blueprint for what comes next. Picture the subtle art of influence not as brute force, but as a whisper that echoes louder than shouts. In the realm of human connections, especially those charged with attraction, power lies in the unseen currents of the psyche. Women, like all people, navigate a world shaped by emotions, instincts, and societal imprints. But there's a unique tapestry to feminine psychology that, when understood, becomes a map to unparalleled sway. It starts with a recognition that control isn't about domination. In the crude sense, it's about guiding desires, amplifying vulnerabilities, and creating dependencies that feel natural, even desired. Consider the principle of scarcity, drawn from the shadows of Machiavellian thought. Make yourself rare, and value skyrockets. That man in the lounge didn't chase. He retreated just enough to ignite pursuit. Women are wired for emotional depths, seeking connections that resonate on a visceral level, and when you withhold just the right amount, it triggers a chase response rooted in evolutionary drives. But layer this with emotional anchoring, tie positive feelings to your presence through shared highs, like laughter in unexpected moments or vulnerability shared in whispers. The brain associates you with dopamine rushes, making absence feel like withdrawal. This isn't manipulation for its own sake. It's strategic alignment with how minds work. Dive deeper into the contradictions. Women often crave stability, yet thrill in uncertainty. Exploit this by being predictable in reliability, but unpredictable in affection. Consistent support wrapped in sporadic intensity. It's the push-pull dynamic that keeps the mind engaged, preventing complacency. Social tactics amplify this. Position yourself as the alpha in subtle ways, not through aggression, but through alliances. Surround yourself with admirers, not overtly, but enough to signal desirability. Women gauge value through social proof. When others want you, her interest compounds. Yet, beware the overt display, it reeks of insecurity. Instead, let it unfold organically. Like a story where you're the enigmatic protagonist. Shifting gears, let's explore the labyrinth of emotional domination, where true power resides. It's not about commanding actions, but owning feelings. Start with empathy as a weapon. Mirror her emotions, validate her fears, and she opens up, handing you the keys to her inner world. but twisted. Machiavellian strategy teaches to use that access to plant ideas that serve your narrative. If she's insecure about past relationships, subtly reinforce that you're different, the antidote, while gently eroding trust in alternatives. This creates emotional isolation, where you become the sole source of validation. Psychology reveals that women bond through oxytocin surges, triggered by touch, eye contact, and shared secrets. Harness this. Initiate physical contact progressively, from casual brushes to lingering holds, syncing it with emotional peaks. The body remembers, forging bonds that logic can't sever. Adding the art of gaslighting light, not the abusive kind, but the subtle reframing of realities to align with your view. If she questions your intentions, redirect to her overthinking, making doubt feel like her flaw. It's immersive, pulling her into a frame where resistance fades. Tactically, employ the foot in the door technique. Small commitments lead to larger ones. Ask for a simple favor, like advice on something trivial, building reciprocity. Women value emotional reciprocity. Once invested, escalation feels inevitable. Weaving stories, narratives of past conquests disguised as lessons learned, sparking jealousy without direct confrontation. Jealousy is a potent tool, stirring possessiveness that binds her closer. But balance it with affirmation. Too much, and it backfires into resentment. The rhythm is key. Build tension, release with reward, repeat. This cycle mimics addictive patterns, like slot machines, where intermittent reinforcement keeps her hooked. Now, immerse in the social chessboard, where tactics turn interactions into victories. Machiavellian wisdom advises knowing your terrain, understand her social circle as extensions of her psyche. Infiltrate subtly, befriend her friends, charm without threat, positioning yourself as indispensable. This creates external pressure. Her network reinforces your appeal, making defection costly. Psychology shows women often seek partners who enhance status, be that enhancer. Display competence in crises, solving problems effortlessly, imprinting reliability, but add mystery. Reveal layers slowly, keeping her guessing. Contradictions fuel fascination, be the intellectual who dances wildly, the stoic with hidden passion. Socially, master triangulation. Introduce mild competition, like mentioning a female acquaintance casually, igniting her competitive instincts. Women evolved in social hierarchies. Tap into that by elevating her status in public, making her feel chosen. Yet privately, assert boundaries, teaching that your time is precious. This domination extends to conversations. Steer topics to her passions, then pivot to yours, associating her joy with your influence. Avoid monologues. Listen actively, using her words against complacency. If she pulls away, don't pursue mirror her distance, amplifying her fear of loss. It's the scarcity revisited but socially amplified. Stories abound of men who lost everything by chasing, instead become the gravitational center. Tactically, use technology wisely. Texts that tease, calls that end on highs, building anticipation. The digital realm extends your reach, turning absence into presence through carefully timed messages. Delving further, the core of feminine psychology unveils vulnerabilities ripe for strategic engagement. Evolutionarily, women prioritize providers and protectors, but modern layers add complexity, independence, clashing with innate desires for leadership. Capitalize on this. Embody quiet authority, making decisions that benefit her without overruling. Its emotional judo use her momentum. For instance, if she's ambitious, support her goals while subtly guiding paths that align with yours. Domination here is symbiotic, feeling mutual. Explore attachment styles. Anxious types crave reassurance. Provide it sporadically to heighten attachment. Avoidance needs space. Encroach just enough to draw them in. Tailor your approach, profiling her early through questions disguised as interest. Machiavellian ethics, results over morals in this arena, intensify with sensory manipulation, scents, touches, environments that evoke emotions. A dimly lit room, soft music, these prime the mind for influence. Psychologically, women process emotions holistically, overload with positives tied to you, but introduce calculated negatives. Mild conflicts resolved in your favor, strengthening bonds through adversity. It's the hero's journey, with you as savior. Socially, leverage groups, events where you're the connector, her relying on your navigation. This builds dependency without overt control. Narrate tales of transformation, how others changed under similar influences, planting seeds of possibility. The immersion deepens as she internalizes your worldview, her actions aligning unconsciously. Building on that foundation, let's navigate the intricacies of long-term hold, where initial sparks evolve into unshakable grip. The psychology shifts from attraction to habituation, where routines embed you in her life. Machiavellian foresight plans for this. Integrate into her daily rhythms subtly shared rituals like morning messages or evening walks. These anchor you as essential. Emotionally dominate by fostering growth illusions, you're the catalyst for her better self. Crediting improvements to your influence. Women seek meaning, provided through shared visions, future projections that include you prominently. Tactics include value stacking, layer compliments with challenges, keeping her striving. Avoid pedestal placement. It breeds entitlement. Instead, maintain equality with underlying superiority. Your opinions carry weight through demonstrated wisdom. Socially, isolate mildly. Discourage toxic influences, framing it as protection. This narrows her world to yours, amplifying control. Psychologically, employ cognitive dissonance. Actions contradicting beliefs resolve in your favor when you guide the narrative. If she resists, highlight inconsistencies, gently pushing realignment. The rhythm flows, highs of passion, lows of reflection, always circling back to you. Stories of enduring bonds illustrate couples where one leads emotionally, the other follows blissfully. Immerse in the examples. The executive who surrendered to a partner's vision, finding fulfillment. It's not force, it's persuasion perfected. As the narrative unfolds, consider the advanced layers of psychological entanglement, where domination becomes art. Delve into subconscious cues. Body language that signals confidence, open posture, steady gaze, triggering submission instincts. Women respond to nonverbals profoundly, master them to command rooms silently. Machiavellian strategy extends to resource control, not financial, but emotional resources. Be the source of excitement, comfort, adventure, deprived elsewhere, and she turns to you. Tactically, use framing, present options where yours shines. In debates, concede minor points to win majors, building trust. Social dynamics evolve position allies who echo your praises, creating echo chambers of affirmation. Psychology warns of overreach, balance with genuine care, blurring lines between strategy and sincerity. Immersion peaks in intimate moments, vulnerability shared reciprocally, but yours calculated to deepen hers. The push for control intensifies through goal alignment, her dreams woven into yours, making separation unthinkable. Narrate epics of such unions, where influence led to mutual empires. The fluid dance continues, each step drawing her deeper into your orbit, transitioning seamlessly. The essence of unbreakable bonds lies in perpetual evolution. Adapt strategies as she changes. Feminine psychology is fluid. What captivates today may bore tomorrow. Machiavellian adaptability reigns. Observe shifts, pivot tactics. If independence surges, grant space laced with reminders of your value. Emotional domination refines. Use affirmations to reinforce behaviors, conditioning like subtle Pavlovian responses. Socially, expand networks together, but retain veto power subtly. Stories of faltering relationships highlight pitfalls over control leading to rebellion. Instead, foster illusion of choice, where options lead back to you. Dive into neurochemistry. Sustain oxytocin through consistent bonding, dopamine via surprises, the immersion's total, her mind rewired to prioritize you. Tactics include memory anchoring. Revisit pivotal moments, strengthening emotional ties. Domination feels organic. a natural hierarchy she embraces. Further exploration reveals the power of narrative control shape her story with you as hero. Psychology shows women internalize stories, craft ones where you are indispensable. Machiavellian plots involve foreshadowing, hint at futures, building anticipation. Emotionally, dominate by resolving her conflicts, positioning as sage. Social tactics, public displays of unity, solidifying status, avoid jealousy, traps, channel into passion. The rhythm poses intense connections followed by reflective pauses. Immerse in detailed anecdotes, the woman who transformed under subtle guidance, emerging empowered yet devoted, is transformative, not tyrannical. Advancing, master the art of anticipation, predict her needs, fulfill before asked. This psychic-like attunement cements control, feminine desires often unspoken, intuit through observation. Machiavellian insight, knowledge is power, gather intel discreetly, emotional layers deepen, vulnerability exchanges build trust, yours feign to elicit hers. Socially, curate experiences that highlight your prowess. Psychology underscores reciprocity, give to receive loyalty. Tactics, intermittent rewards keep engagement high. Stories illustrate partnerships where one leads invisibly, harmony prevailing. The flow is hypnotic, drawing her inexorably closer. The web tightens with integrated lifestyles, merge worlds seamlessly, domination through osmosis. Your habits become hers. Machiavellian strategy, influence preferences subtly. Emotional hold strengthens via shared adversities overcome. Social circles fuse, isolation from dissenters, immerse in psychodynamics, attachment theory applied, securing anxious bonds. Tactics evolve, digital footprints reinforce presence. Narratives of success abound, inspiring emulation. The immersion is profound, control absolute yet veiled, pushing boundaries. Explore taboo edges of influence, dark psychology tactics, tempered with ethics, gaslighting variants. Reframe doubts as growth opportunities. Machiavellian ends justify means, but sustainability matters. Emotional domination, induce dependency through highs only you provide. Social maneuvers, rival elimination via superior value. Psychology reveals shadow sides, harness without abuse. Stories of redemption, women finding purpose in surrender. Rhythm accelerates passion, surges, control, consolidates. In the depths, uncover hypnotic elements, language patterns that embed suggestions. Neuro-linguistic programming basics, mirror speech, anchor positives. Feminine minds receptive to embedded commands. Machiavellian application, persuade without detection. Emotional waves, crest with ecstasy, trough with longing. Social proof amplified, testimonials implied. Tactics, escalation ladders, from flirt to commitment. Immersive tales, epic loves born of strategy. The narrative envelops inescapable, refining, focus on resilience, build bonds that withstand tests. Psychology teaches stress bonding, use challenges to fortify. Machiavellian foresight, anticipate threats, neutralize. Emotional mastery, regulate her moods, becoming stabilizer. Social integration, family alliances. Stories of longevity, decades under subtle sway. Flow seamless, depth unending. The pinnacle approaches, total psychological merger, where her will aligns with yours. Domination transcendent, partnership perfected. Machiavellian legacy, empires built on influence. Emotional symphony, harmonies of desire. Social tapestry, woven tightly, immerse fully, transformation complete. As this journey culminates, reflect on the profound shift from fleeting encounters to enduring empires of the heart. The psychology unveiled isn't mere tricks, it's a fundamental rewrite of connections, turning ordinary men into architects of destiny. You've glimpsed the unstoppable force that bends wills, forges loyalties, and creates worlds where influence reigns supreme. Embrace this knowledge and watch as realities reshape around you, women drawn inexorably into your sphere. transformed by the very essence of your understanding. It's not control for conquest, but for creation of bonds that elevate, dynamics that endure. Step into this power, and the world becomes your canvas, painted with the colors of unyielding psychology. If this resonated, smash that like button to let the algorithm know your support fuels more deep dives like this. Subscribe now for weekly unlocks into the minds that shape our world, and hit the bell to never miss an upload. Drop a comment below. What's one tactic you'll try first? Share this video with a friend who needs to level up together. We master the game. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.